friends, today I'm going to be chatting about some products that I absolutely love and cannot stop using, and the reason I wanted to put them in a separate video over a favorites video is that most of these have appeared in favorites videos, and a lot of the time my favorites videos include new things that I'm loving, and I try not to mention the same things over and over, but at the same time, if I continue to use things months and months after I initially tried it, especially considering all the new launches, all the makeup I'm trying, obviously that goes to show that these are some of my absolute favorite products. So you could call this a current favorites, sort of a ride or die, sort of a like go-to makeup items. A lot of these are things that I would gladly put in a makeup bag if I was traveling, going to an event. These are the kind of things that I would reach for. So whatever you want to call this, these are some absolute staples in my collection lately. So let's go ahead and get started. The first item that I want to talk about is what actually inspired this idea, because I've done a full review. I've talked about it in a favorites video. I've talked about it in other videos, but I'm still loving it. I'm still continuing to use it, and I still want to continue to kind of reinforce the fact that I absolutely love this and recommend it. It is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I love this for a number of reasons. I'm so excited they have extended their shade range. The finish on the skin is incredible. I have had a lot of active breakouts over the past 4 or 5 months, and this is one of those foundations that just glides over it so beautifully. I actually mentioned this in a recent video about my favorite foundations for more textured skin, so I will link to that down below. And again, this foundation kind of inspired that video. It's just a very inspiring foundation. The finish on the skin is beautiful, the wear is beautiful, the shade match is great for me, and I'm just so incredibly impressed with this. I traveled with it, I absolutely love it, and it seems like a lot of other people are really liking it as well. Let me know if you have tried it, but for me, Physicians Formula has always been a brand that I've kind of strayed away from, for the most part because they didn't make shades for me, but now that they do and I'm trying some of their products, they really do have an incredibly high-end feel. So impressed with this, absolutely will repurchase, highly recommend. Let's keep the complexion theme going. The first is a setting spray, and I absolutely love this. I'm almost out of it. It is the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix, and I love this. This is the setting spray that I reach for when I have a really long day, an important event, when I want my makeup to last. It doesn't necessarily mattify the skin, but it helps to keep things in place, helps to keep them vibrant, so as the oils do start to come through, it really does help keep my makeup looking vibrant as the day goes on. A lot of the time I put on a setting spray and I'm like, meh, I don't know. Did it do anything? I have no idea. It looks good on application, takes away the powdery look, but at the end of the day, did it really do anything? And this is one of those products that I absolutely can say it absolutely does help my makeup throughout the day. And then the other spray that I want to mention is not a setting spray, it's a skin mist. This is from Tarte. It is the Ready Set Radiant spray, and I've talked about this before. It was in my yearly favorites, and this I've really been enjoying, especially lately because my skin has had some texture, and sometimes I need a little help to get things moving over the bumps and issues on my skin, if you want to call it that, and I really like it for this. It does have a bit of an odd spray on it. If you spray it on kind of the final face of makeup, it can leave those little drops, but I like to use this after I've put on my foundation or before I've put on my foundation and before I've set it. So it's kind of a bit of an extra step, not 100% necessary, but I definitely do find myself reaching for this a ton, and there's all kinds of skin mists out there, and I have tried other ones, but this is definitely one that I continue to reach for. Let's talk about powder. I get so many questions about my favorite powders, and I will do a video on that. I'm actually going to film it this week, so stay tuned for it in the coming weeks. But the one that I want to mention that I love so much, and it's incredibly affordable, is the Covergirl Outlast All Day Matte Setting Powder. And this one actually that I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing it in the shade light medium. There's a medium dark, and they look really light, but for the most part, they're pretty much transparent. And this is the kind of thing that I love for, again, multiple reasons, but it's incredibly affordable. I really truly feel like it does do a good job keeping me more matte than some other powders that just have that immediately mattifying effect. On top of that, it's good for setting your makeup, but it's also a good purse powder if you want to touch up, because it's not super heavy, cakey, it doesn't have a ton of coverage. You can kind of go in and retouch your makeup with this. I was actually at an event for this. I went to like a launch kind of PR event, whatever you want to call it, and I don't really know how much this actually is relevant to the product, but I was kind of intrigued by it. They had this powder versus a competitor powder, which I think was the L'Oreal Pro Matte, which I do like, but they put drops of water on top of this and drops of water on top of the L'Oreal. They had taken off the L'Oreal label, but like I know what the packaging looks like. And the water sat on top of this in a little droplet, and on the L'Oreal powder, it's sunk in. Again, I'm not a scientist. I couldn't tell you if that's really relevant, but what I can tell you is when I put this on my face, it definitely does help to mattify, so it is a really, really good one if you do have oily skin. Over the past year or two, I've had a bit of an awakening for contours, bronzers, cream contours, and there's 3 products that I continually reach for bronzing of the powder variety. The first is the, oh my god, itchy nose. Don't want to disturb my foundation. It is the Becca Sunlit Bronzer in the shade Ipanema Sun. I absolutely love this. I think it looks so natural on the skin. When you look at it up close, there's a little shimmer in it, nothing that I notice on my face because I am not a shimmery bronzer kind of gal, and it just really truly gives you that kind of sun-kissed look. You can build it up. It is a little bit powdery, so I wouldn't go in with a super dense brush, but it is so beautiful. Definitely a high-end bronzer, but it gives you that high-end look. Blends out beautifully. There's a shade or two above for deeper skin. There are some shades for lighter skin, and I'm so incredibly impressed with this. Do I travel with this? I don't think I have traveled with this because it is a little bit of a softer formula and I don't want it to break. Like, I can't deal with that devastation. But I absolutely do love this and always reach for it if I'm doing kind of like a night out makeup. Something else that I always reach for when it comes to night out makeup, heavier makeup, whatever you want to call it, is the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder. I mentioned this in my recent monthly makeup basket, but I do keep it in its little pouch. I don't normally do that with high-end makeup, but I did drop this one day at work. At my previous job, I was going to like a makeup event after. I brought a little contour powder to work to touch up, and I didn't drop it. I had taken it out of my bag and it was smashed, and I repurchased it. This is like a $60 powder. That does not come easily to me, and that just speaks to how beautiful this is. It is the perfect tone for my skin. It is cool toned, but not ashy, not gray, not muddy. It blends out seamlessly. Truly is a contour powder. It's not the kind of thing you can also bronze with. It is just incredibly beautiful and absolutely worth the price tag to me. But if you're cursing me for recommending 2 higher end items, I have something from the drugstore that, again, I'm obsessed with. No surprise that this is in this video, but it is the Mega Glow Makeup Stick Contour from Wet n Wild. This one is in the shade Where's Walnut. I constantly compare every cream product I try for contour to this. This to me is comparable to the Dior Blush Contour Stick, which was limited edition and incredible. I still have that. Absolutely love it and recommend it if you can get your hands on it. It is a really beautiful product, but second to that, or not even, like on par, this is incredible. It blends out so nicely. I was never a fan of cream products, and now this is just something so easy. I can use it in a rush. I can use it on big makeup days. To me, cream contour is the kind of thing that I wouldn't lean on every day, but I absolutely could with a product like this because it's so easy to draw on your skin. It blends out seamlessly. It has a good wear time if you have oily skin, and I think it's like $4 in Canada, probably $3 or $2 in the USA. The highlighter that I have been traveling with, that I have been using at home, especially for the daytime, is the Fenty Beauty Killawatt Highlighter in Mean Money Hustla Baby. Again, this has been in favorites videos, it's been in travel videos, it's been in my yearly favorites. This is very important to me. I absolutely love it. I love this for, I keep saying I love it for a number of reasons, like obviously because this is a video about my current favorites, my apologies, but the split pan, I think that the satiny side is so underrated. Again, I have had a lot of texture on my skin lately, so I've been trying to find highlights that don't just like wha-bam it in your face. Sometimes I'm like, screw it and I want to glow. I don't care if it highlights a pimple, but other times, especially during the day or if it's a more natural makeup look, I like to wear something that has a glow to it, but it's not going to be over the top. And that is what this shade is so good for. Even the more shimmery shade is not like wha-bam in your face anyways. They pair beautifully together. They are great on their own. I haven't traveled with this because it does give me that duality of basically 3 different looks, because you can get your satiny finish, you can get your more glowy finish, or you can get somewhere in between. And for the most part, that is how I will use this. I'll use the satiny part on all of my kind of highlight points, and then I'll go in a little bit more targeted with the more glowy side. And I just think that that is so incredible. It is great for travel. I have flown with it twice now. So I took it on my like LA, San Francisco, Vancouver trip, and then I took it when I went to Newfoundland about 2 weeks ago, and it does travel really nicely as well. I would like to actually try some of the other shades because I have been loving this one so much. Another item, or kind of items combination, that I have been dying to mention to you again, which I have talked about in a favorites video, but I'm a mascara junkie. I've worn false lashes maybe 5 times in my life. I'm a mascara girl for sure, and this combination is so good. It's what I'm wearing on my lashes now, and my lashes, like, they're popping. They look great, if I do say so myself. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Primer. I've talked about this a ton anyways on its own. It's a beautiful lash primer. I highly recommend it to be paired with any mascara, but especially have been loving it with the Rimmel Wonderfully Real Mascara. And again, I do like this on its own, but together, these guys they're so good together. I just absolutely love them. I don't have issues with smudging, transferring, holding a curl, or anything like that, so I can't really speak to that too much, but it doesn't give me that issue, and I think that they just pair so well together. I think because this is quite voluminous, and then this does have a lot of length, it kind of balances each other out, and they just have a beautiful, beautiful finish. When you are using this, let it set on your lashes for maybe 10 seconds. Don't let it fully set, but also don't go in when it's completely wet, and it will give you such a voluminous, long, I dare to say, false lash look. I want to go back to complexion for a second. I forgot to mention these. These are the Urban Decay concealers, and I want to mention both of them because I love them both for different reasons. So the Urban Decay Naked Skin is something that people have been talking about forever. I don't know why I never hopped on it, but I did recently. I bought it when I was in LA over Christmas. And then I also purchased, no, wait, when did I buy this? Oh, that's a lie. I got this from Shoppers Drug Mart a couple months ago. This I got in LA over Christmas. It's the Urban Decay All Nighter. And I like these because this one is what I'm wearing today. It's super full coverage, long wearing, really, really, really beautiful. But I also don't want to wear that when I'm wearing lighter coverage foundations, which is something I've been doing a lot lately, so I've been reaching for this. And it's the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I mean, everybody loves this. You've probably tried it. I'm late to the bandwagon. But what I like about this is it feels really lightweight, but it's still long wearing and still has coverage. It's somewhere in between something like this and a concealer that's just like barely there, kind of something of that kind of lighter nature, and then this kind of sits somewhere in the middle. So it gives me coverage, because a lot of the time more light coverage concealers can sometimes work against you and just make your eyes look gray, and I'm like, well, why did I even try? You did nothing for me. So this kind of leaves me somewhere in the middle, and these just both totally satisfy all of my concealer needs, and I really truly like them a lot. I get a lot of questions about the highlighter brush that I use, and I have a lot of brushes that I love. I have a favorite brushes video and a favorite e.l.f. brushes video, which I will link to down below, but for the most part, this is my absolute favorite highlight brush, and will reach for this with 90% of my highlighters. And it's the kind of thing that if I don't have it, I feel a little bit like, ugh. Like the rest of my brushes, I have like 1 or 2 of that version that I like 1 or 2 blush brushes, 1 or 2 contour brushes, but this I feel really stuck when I don't have this. It's from Morphe. It is the R80, I think. I've been using this a lot, and the kind of tag has worn off, so I will link to it down below. But for the most part, if I am wearing a highlighter, or if I am putting on highlighter, I'm using this. If it's a super dense highlighter, something like the Physicians Formula highlighters, I might go for the Inglot brush that I've mentioned before. I'll link that too down below. But in general, this works with almost all my highlighters, and I cannot live without it. 2 more eye products-ish that I want to mention. The first I talked about in my most recent favorites video, but it feels wrong not to mention it because I still love it and I can't stop using it, and I'm so obsessed with it. It's the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. This is the best brow gel I have ever used. I have been on the hunt for a brow gel that gives me tons of hold, that's not gloopy, that leaves my brows looking feathery, but also kind of keeps them in place, kind of that balance in between, and this absolutely does that. Not only is the formula great, but the brush is really good on it because it has a really short side and then a really long side. So I kind of go in between that, and that gives me a lot of control in how I style my brows, because I have quite full brows, and I think, you know how a lot of people have issues with their eyelashes falling because they don't hold a curl. My brows don't hold a shape, if you want to call it. So because there's quite a bit of hair there, it's great, makes it easy for me to shape my brows, but at the same time, like sometimes I'll be halfway through the day and my brow's like, no, and stops like holding on to life. So this does an incredible job keeping my brows in place. And then the other eye product that I want to mention is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. I have quite a few eyeliners. I'll use a lot of eyeliners, but at the end of the day, if I'm going somewhere important, if I'm I'm doing something important, this is what I'm reaching for. I do really, really like the formula, but what I mostly like is just the ease of use of the brush, because a lot of people are like, I'm not good at eyeliner, and then I see them put on eyeliner like this with like a mirror, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is not me. I'm truly not good at eyeliner. Like, I'm not just saying that. I am not good at eyeliner. And this definitely makes it easy for me. I'm really excited because I did see she is coming out with a truly matte formula, because this isn't truly matte. It's not shiny, but it could definitely be a little bit deeper and a little bit more matte. So really, really excited to try that. But for the most part, I absolutely love this. Every time it's a 100-point perk, I get it, and I find that perk lasts for quite a while, that little sample, and it's incredible. So if you do have trouble with eyeliner, I highly recommend this one. Lastly, I want to talk about some absolute favorite lip products of mine. One of these is a combination that I wear all the time, and then another is kind of a newly discovered addition to this combination. So I talked about this before, but it is the Bite Beauty lip pencil in the shade 40. It's one of those shades that's a little bit deeper than my lip color. It does a really good job outlining, pairs well with just about every lip color, and I really like the formula. Although it is a wooden pencil, it has a nice creamy feel, but it's not so creamy that it does give you really nice definition on the lips. So that's what I'm wearing on the outer portion of my lips, and then a little bit kind of on the inner corner. A classic, a lipstick I've had for far too long and should throw out, but I'm not going to, but I have repurchased, is the Kat Von D Lolita lipstick. This is the original, I think. What is up with my face today? This is the original Lolita, and I have repurchased that as well. The shade is slightly different, but they're very, very close. This formula is really comfortable on the lips, quite long wearing. This combination I would call like my dinner lip, or if I'm going for dinner lip, drinks, why am I putting everything in quotations? But it's the kind of lip that I know as it wears away, or if it wears away, it's not going to look horrendous, and I can kind of eat with it, and it's easily touch-upable. So that, with a little bit of this in the center, and it's the Tartist lip paint in the shade Home Slice. And I actually brought, when I went to the Bite Beauty Lip Lab recently, which I will link to down below, I brought in these two lipsticks and asked her to create the combination of these two, because I'm always mixing them together, and she did an incredible job. So I will link to my lip swatch video on my vlog where I talk a little bit more about that Bite Beauty Lip Lab. Anybody can go, but she did such a good job creating it. I still do mix them together. I have today. Sometimes I'll add more peach like I have done today. Other times it'll be more of this, but either way, it's a favorite of mine. And then lastly is a newer liquid lipstick from, why is my face so itchy? It's not like itchy like something's wrong, which is just like little tingly bits. Anyways, irrelevant. It is the Covergirl Melting Pout in Coral Chronicles. I love this shade. It reminds me of those two shades that I mentioned. Again, really pairs well with the kind of lip liners that I like, the brownie, rosy, deeper shades. And these have really nice wear. I've only worn this one and another lighter one. I haven't worn many of the deeper ones, but I do especially love this color. I don't think it has much of a scent. Little bit, and it has kind of like a creamy formula. It's liquidy, dries down matte, but nothing that feels like crusty or super dry on the lips. So definitely, I haven't heard many people talk about these, so I definitely recommend this shade at least. So those are some products that I cannot get enough of over the past probably 6 months for some of these for sure, or since I even started trying them. I know I've been wearing that L'Oreal Lash Primer forever, and you're maybe sick of hearing me talk about it, but I think because I'm talking about so much new stuff all the time, it's kind of important to take a step back and chat about the things that I continue to use time and time again, because that really shows that I absolutely love them. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what your ride or die, cannot get enough of current favorites are, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!